you on that.
Well, we've called him to the stage and not the stand, and the judge, jury, and executioner will be Suning Esports, Suning Gaming, and we'll see whether or not Top will be found guilty or innocent. We've entered into pick and ban here. It's game number 2 between Top Gaming and Suning Gaming. Already, again, the Camille, this time a Tom Kench and Orn.
I dislike throwing out punts, but it's something when TOP decides to start banning top laners like Camille and Orn. They're just trying to leave the carries out of there. Orn is just a busted champion. I'm surprised they didn't actually try and go for that first pick Orn themselves, but it seems like they have something else up in their sleeves.
Yeah, so we actually got to hear from Tian a little bit earlier today. The fact that he has, or excuse me, Xiao Al, the fact that Suning Gaming have got good synergy with Tian and Knight. They feel like they're learning and growing a little bit, but this growth is allowing Xiao Al specifically to expand his champion pool a little bit, to try some more of these creative picks, like the Vladimir that we saw.
And I like to see that, because one champion that comes to mind when it's Xiao Al is Jax, because that was his main champion last year. So he shows that he can be a carry player, and now if Tian's giving him a little bit more attention, then he can expand that pool.
Well, looks like we do have the Alistair first pick from Topsports. Suning Gaming, they're going to pick up this exact same thing here. Actually, this is following the same pick and ban order. All right, Ryze and Rengar. Do Top run it back in game 2?
The only thing that they're forced not to pick, of course, is the Tom Kench. Tom Kench is way too damn hard to gank, so it seems like TOP are like, okay, maybe we can run the same strategy. This time it's just easier to gank the bottom lane because there's no Tom Kench eating people.
Yeah, here's the change-up. That Kog'Maw was banned in Phase 2 by Suning last time around. So instead of prioritizing the Rengar, the comfort pick for Karen, they take the Kog'Maw. That being said, Zoe once again.
Yeah, they just run it back. Suning are like, it doesn't matter that we don't have the Tom Kench, and it doesn't matter that we're going up against an Alistair, and maybe it doesn't matter that Braum is probably going to get banned by TOP in the second phase. So I really want to see what Yoon goes towards in the picks in his own pool, because he can very easily go towards a Thresh. A Thresh Kalista is damaging, and that's something that Yoon can very easily go back to.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 more bans for Top. We know that support is open and Top is open, and you really want to try to limit Xiao Al's pool. 15 seconds on the clock. What do Top prioritize? Do they look to get that Kog'Maw off the ground? Looks like it is, as the Braum banned away.
Perfect. Next one should be Thresh. At this point, you have to challenge Yoon's champion pool. You've gotten to a point where support hasn't been picked, and there's not that many, I would say, incredibly effective tank supports out there. Shen is already a ban too that Suning have, I suppose at this point, levied towards themselves, because that can go towards a support position.
Yeah. I think more importantly, it's taking it away from Lies, the guy who was saying, this is the champion that I'm best on. If I can learn champions like this. And there's the Thresh. Wow, Raz, you're really good at this.
I'm just saying it's a double-edged sword. Sure, you're taking away the Shen from Lies, but it just comes down to the fact that Yoon still wants a champion, man. He wants a champion to play. I wonder what he goes towards.
I mean, generally, we all would like to play champions on Summoner's Rift. Leona could show her head once again. Ooh, or Tarek as well, the Targonian duo.
I like Tarek here. I don't even care if he swaps away from it, just because, it's a nice tank for the lane, right? It's a good tank when they already have a damaging jungler, and so not only do they have that kind of beefy lineup, now they can kind of play team fights with 3 squishies. That's, of course, including the Kazakhs.
Ooh, this would be quite exciting to see Karen return to that Zac made famous in his matchup against EDG when Dan Gaming had their huge upset. And it is locked in, so we've got some scaling. We've got some engage.
All right, here's the thing. I'm usually pretty excited for Zacs, but not so excited when you're going Zac into Tarek. And there's still one more pick to go for here that's inevitably going to be a tank in the top lane for Suning, unless, Xiao tries to be creative. So if you're a Zac and you're jumping into a Tarek team, that's pretty difficult. That's a hard game to play, because now you have to be, I would say, confident that you are in a pretty good position. You're ahead of the game, not so much even, not behind. So we'll have to see what they go for. It seems like Xiao's is going to say, give me that Vladimir.
Yeah, Vladimir locked in. Suning Gaming running a very similar composition. The only change-up is Tarek instead of Tom Kench. A little bit less safety for Fury, but of course with that Fate's Call, you can just chuck Tarek right on top of that Kog'Maw, lock him down, and let Zoe do the rest of the dirty work.
And I wonder how much they kind of practice this composition, because they're going straight towards the same picks that they've had in the last game. Only difference, of course, is the Tarek, because they just didn't have access to the Tom Kench. So it seems like this is incredible comfort for Suning, realizing that it worked so well last game. If you're TOP, you already saw, or at least you had a little bit of a review, a little bit of a break in between games to talk about what went wrong in the last game. And it seems like, well, the example is right in front of you. The next 20, 30 minutes is kind of exactly the same of what happened in the last 30 minutes. They should have an answer.
We'll have to see what that's going to be. How do Top change this up in Game 2 if they want to try to bring it back to a Game 3? If they lose here, it'll be the first time that Top has gone 0-2 against Suning, their rivals, and we'll just further cement that rivalry, I think.
That's true, but I have some faith in Top. One great thing I liked about their pick ban here, of course, is the change away from Rengar to Zac.
Yeah.
Big difference is just the pre-6 ganks that Zac can go for. So sure, his early clear is going to be a little bit shady, especially since Kha'Zix is going to want to check up on him in the jungle.
Yeah.
Where are you starting? How's it going? Kind of like that
doing?
creeper. Just seeing how he's doing every moment of every day.
Yeah.
But
what's going on in this jungle?
if he gets to like a level 4, if he gets to a kind of safe space where he can look for a gank in the bottom lane, then it's going to be pretty hard for Suning Gaming to get a ward and catch that out because of how long that elastic slingshot could take him.
We've seen how creative Karen can be with the Zac, finding unique gank paths and routes to get into the enemy team. But the chance is now. Topsports Gaming taking on Suning Gaming here. And we've got the chance to see whether Top, are they going to show us something new? Will they try to change things up? One very dedicated fan to TOP.
Yeah, there we go. Starting to get up.
Yeah, several slightly less dedicated fans. As there they go. Now they're starting to get it.
So immediately just a change of strategy. We already talked about how the Zac is going to be the most important part of Top's early game. But also it seems like it's a little bit, they're showing Suning where they're going to gank, right? Mid lane has that setup with Ryze. Bottom lane has a big setup in the Alistar as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's a big focus for Karn. It makes it a little easier for Tien to recognize that and kind of start pathing towards it, because he can either just do exactly what he did last game. Go top lane, see if you can get a dive on Lies, but what he gets away from it, obviously, is like, yeah, sure, you get the kill. But then Zac has a free bottom lane that he can go towards. Yeah. So there's a real response here rather than last game where he was a Rengar and he was like, wow, this is hard.
Already we can see Knight exerting dominance over Goong with a quick Paddle Star and the Comet and an empowered auto attack. Things are just looking good for Knight in that mid lane. He's warmed up. He's got a groove. Now Goong is going to have to try to fight against that. And going back to your point about Karen, I'm also excited to see if he decides to continue to focus that bottom lane, because traditionally in the summer split of the LPL, that was his focus. That was his go-to. Even in when we saw him the last time they played, trying to gank the bottom lane through that Rengar 2 times in a row.
Yeah, he usually had a lot of utility in the bottom side of the map to help him out.
Well, he's got just as much with that Alistar now.
Yeah, so this could be a lot easier for him. I mean, he tried in the last game, but the Tahm Kench was really making it difficult. That could just be the difference. That being said, he has to protect his own jungle, and this is what is the hardest point of the game for Zac.
Ooh, you were talking about exactly this. Tian manages to find it, but it's level 3 for Karen. Stretching Strike slows it down. Goong is on the way. Knight is trying to catch up with his own level 2, and just immediate flash. I like that from Tian, just respecting the potential.
Great job from him. Of course, that means that he does blow his flash for that invade. A lot of that just comes down to just communication with his lanes. Sure, Al can't get a push, but it's on Knight to kind of start pushing that backside, that back wave, in preparation to help him out, so or at least the Ryze would have to deal with the wave coming into his tower. It allows Tien to have a partner in crime just for that invade.
Now take a look at this Knight. He's actually running Minion Dematerializer in the middle. Dematerializer. Yeah, exactly. Anemones. In the mid lane on this Zoe to help him push, perhaps allow some more freedom to roam. You and I were talking about it backstage a little bit before this. Yeah,
one thing about the inspiration tree is there's so much creativity involved when it comes down to it. He either gets the free boots, there's a lot of gold, or he gets the dematerializer, which means that he can actually get a freer push earlier on. We already talked about how easy it is for Zoe to kind of clear the backline wave, but now that he gets the dematerializer, he can also just kind of throw it onto the melee minions as well, and it's so much more easier for him to leave lane, which is going to be important, because you can already see what composition Suning Gaming is concocting to have a Kalista Taric incredibly easy to dive in that bottom side of the map. And if you're making it easier for Knight to leave that lane, then it kind of telegraphs that that's the plan they're looking for.
A little bit of skirmishing on that bottom side of the map as Choo-Choo and Cat just trying to keep Fury and Yoon honest, not letting them take too much of an advantage down here, as Choo-Choo is actually opening up a CS advantage down there. Lies back in the exact same matchup, not even swapping sides against Xiao Al, this time being much more conscious of any roams from Tian as he's got a forward ward into Tribush. Take a look at this very clever ward position coming out of Suning Gaming. That's actually going to spot Karen here.
Yeah, it's really solid. One thing about junglers like Evelyn and Zac, where they just have creative gank pathings, is that you want to catch them on their camp.
Yeah.
You want to catch them pathing towards the lane rather than trying to just place a ward where people usually gank, because they don't abide by those same rules. So I like that coming out of Suning. That just meant that when they had a proper push, that they had the opportunity to just throw Yoon towards that Krug and just place it down. So I mean, now it's a little harder for Karn to find that gank.
That will keep the bottom lane safe for just a little bit longer, as Knight just getting some good paddle start chip onto Goong, who's keeping up in CS this time around. There's the dematerializer.
And he used it on the melee minion. Kind of backs up the claim that it's already easy for Zoe to clear the backline. If you can do it on the front line as well, then that just means that you'll just see waves piling up onto the Rise. It's the thing is, people they just don't appreciate the dematerializer. I know you're getting free gold from the boots. I know that he's wearing kind of ugly brown bags for shoes rather than like really nice, paid for magical boots.
Funded. Yeah.
But, you know, you pay that 350 gold and you have access to this.
We did see the first one get used on a cannon minion a few waves earlier, so we are seeing a bit of a distribution from Knight on making sure he's got pretty clear damage across the wave. Doesn't really have to worry about those casters, like you said, as Fury. He's got a big wave building up. Knight with level 6 with that portal jump has disappeared off the map.
Yeah, he's making a way, and you can already see the path coming towards the bottom side, kind of latched onto the mid lane. There's a nice ward, 2-3 wards being placed that has full control of Zoe moving towards the bottom lane.
Ooh, Lies immediately turns and engages on the 6. Good building sidestep. Karen joins in. A quick heal and drops into the puddle to escape.
That's just how hard it is to gank Vladimir, especially since he was so close to Crimson Rush. Just was able to get so much HP back like that and bursted down Lies. So that gank was not going to work.
Tragically, not able to turn it around. But this time, though, Xiao Al doesn't have that early kill, that early setup from Tian. Tian seems to be playing a much more patient style here in this game, too. Just going for the full clear. He's level 5 already. Karen, he's been trying to gank not once but twice, going up top and trying one earlier in the bottom lane.
He's kind of losing out in this. Sure, he has a bit of a CS lead in terms of just being able to clear out, but you look towards his camps right now. Blue side's completely cleared. Bottom side sure has a red buff, but that's going to be a little bit. Oh,
ooh, that's half health.
They're going
and
for
the
it.
Ignite tick going to be dropped from that Spell Thief. Karen shows up, but Goong does not win that trade.
But you're just seeing Karn just trying for these ganks. He only really tried his hand there, sure, because Goong was trading, but also because there was nothing for him to look for in his own jungle. So Tian, throughout this entire point in time, was clearing out Krug, going to look towards his red buff. He's matched up in CS while still being able to farm up quite well. So like right now, Karn is just, he's going to play it back a little bit more. He's like, all right, nothing is working. Top lane gank didn't work. Mid lane gank was like not even really a gank. So he's just going to farm up in the bottom side of the map instead.
Trying to get something, trying to get anything. Tian will spot out Lies in early level 7, make sure that Lies is nice and safe. And everyone just returns back to their native positions, their own side of the map. Karen, he's not content with that. He lands the stretching strikes, headbutts them together. That's the flash knockup. They're not going for the Kalista, but they won't be able to get him. Ignite is ticking down, and Yoon is fine.
That's what's so frustrating. You didn't have to do that one. You didn't have to do it. He was trying to be flashy. Literally turning to gold. That being said, that was frustrating for top because they play so many control wards for a gank that did not work.
Ooh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Yoon steps back in. He just ticks over to 6. Will he survive? He will not. Fury will get the invincibility, but that's first blood for Topsports. That's level 6, also picked up by Choo-Choo. He starts firing down some of those Bio-Arcane barrage shots. And
maybe.
Tian trying to follow up. Goong is left to take the hit. Tian is clearing a ward in the meanwhile. Fury steps up. A little bit of miscommunication here could cost them their life. Azanya says that's going to be Zach popped in.
Oh,
Xiao Ao
no.
with the teleport, and it's a full-on melee. Goong teleports to safety, but Tian leads. It doesn't catch up as Lies sweeps them back to safety. All right, here's the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. The 1-2, but not the splash. Dive from Xiao Ao. Portal jump from Knight to get in. The resets, they're diving for the turrets so very aggressively. Cat will finally go down. How has no one died from Suning?
Everybody has a stopwatch. Literally everybody. No one can die because they all have something up their sleeve.
Oh my goodness. It's terrible magic trick. We can all make time stop, at least for a little bit here, as not only do they get these 4 kills, they also take the first turret of the game.
I honestly believe that neither team knew who could win the fight because Top stayed because they believed that they had the ability to push into tower, and here comes another skirmish. Just stop. Thank you. All right.
All right, Rice, go for it.
Like, this looked good for Top. Get the gank off. You get a kill on Yoon. Sure, you can stay a little longer because who's there to defend? You have Knight and Fury, sure, but they don't have Taric ulti anymore. But the thing about Zoe, let me tell you about Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Tell me about Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
When you think you have a winning fight, suddenly it just doesn't make any sense because you land one Sleepy Trouble Bubble, it's incredibly low in cooldown, you can throw another Sleepy Trouble Bubble, so sure, you throw into the fight, but then here comes a Vladimir.
So that's 1 Zanya's, that's 2.
Let's keep counting them.
Yeah, they just chase it up with the fight. Like you said, Xiao Ao joins in, and from there, it's the extended dive from Suning.
And the only reason they knew they could take this fight was because of the multiple stopwatches. 3.
They just continue diving. 4. And they just keep going. Cat is the last one. 5.
Yes.
5 stopwatches.
And that's my friend, literally the reason why.
The inspiration tree.
Inspiration tree.
Yeah.
Secondary. I don't care if you're going for a primary tree, secondary tree. A lot of value.
Yeah.
A lot of value.
So while that replay was happening, we did see Topsports take the Infernal Dragon in the meanwhile. So they are trying to get themselves back into this. You can see their vision on the bottom half of the map. They must have set that up and been able to secure it in the meantime. Swap from Choo Choo and Cat towards this top side of the map is going to be matched by Fury and Yoon. But Tian is already working on that Rift Herald before his duo was on the side of the map.
Yeah, it's pretty risky. I mean, that ward kind of caught them a little bit. But they're not really sending anyone just yet.
Yeah, looks like Aaron is on his way now to scout it out. He doesn't even have Smite. But I guess, yeah, Xiao Ao was there just to be a body, to protect it. But they're actually turning this into a bait, turning it onto the kill. Stretching strikes and flash. Ooh, no Sleepy Trouble Bubble over the wall from Knight to get the assassination. But that's Rift Herald from Suning.
Yeah, you got to give it away just because Xiao Ao was there. You already saw him just kind of flashing his E just to be able to put enough damage on the Karin to force him to flash. So your top laner's there. Lies his bottom lane. That's not your Rift Herald, my friend.
Certainly is not. Xiao Ao walks into Lies. Tides of Blood will not hit him, but Lies just hops over the wall to safety. Meanwhile, again, constant pushing from Knight in the mid lane. The ability to clear his wave faster than Arise. I can't believe I'm saying that. And then roam to other places. Knight could be a real threat, and now he's got that flash on the Spell Thief.
Yeah, that's a double flash. He's got a W for his flash, and of course he already has his own flash up and ready. So he can just keep making these plays regardless of if it works or not.
Oh, and there goes the flash.
Okay, he just has another flash ready for it, so it doesn't really matter. Now he just knows where the enemy jungler is, or at least the top laner. Now you're in a point where you have to look towards Tian and where he's going to be sending his Rift Herald. Right now he's going top lane, sure. Maybe he can have Zoe roam towards the top side after she clears this wave, and then that could work as a team fight. But I would actually want it to be thrown towards the mid lane. Send your dual lane towards mid because of how low that tower is.
Oh, there goes the Rift Herald from Tian. We already did see a ward placed from Karin on that side of the map, perhaps preempting the fact that this could be a possibility as the wave is being pushed in by Knight. Now, teleport is ready for Xiao Ao, but not Lies.
Yeah, they're showing their hand.
Ooh, Tian steps way too far forward. He is in the bounce house and just gets knocked up and down so many times. Karin chunked down to half, but Rift Herald has already charged. That being said, there are not enough members of Suning to support, and Rift Herald goes down. Never mind, Yoon gets chucked in. Oh man, Cosmic Radiance, Xiao Al teleported in. They actually want this fight. They're not even going for the turret. They're going for the kills. And they pay with their lives. Yoon goes down.
All right, first of all, that's the danger of just kind of telling the enemy team exactly what you're going to be doing 20 seconds in advance.
Yeah.
You just throw a Rift Herald to the top side. You're like, oh, let's just all form up towards the top side, ladies and gentlemen. And then they try to look for a fight anyways when Tian is down. Honestly, don't understand. And I was like, maybe because Xiao's feeling confident in himself, right? But then when he goes pulling, he doesn't use his E as well, so there's no damage involved in that one. So he just pieces out. They lose everything.
Yeah, so we actually just saw something really neat there. Xiao Al teleported top to try to get that fight, but Knight actually picked up a teleport with his Spell Thief, and normally Lies would have been able to take that top tier 1, make the trade, make the fight worth something, but it was just denied because Zoe.
I love this champion.
Pretty fantastic here. Still, though, it is 1 turret to 0 for top. They did give up 2 kills to top. And Suning, they're 2,200 gold ahead, trying to open up that advantage just a little bit more, but we're seeing them take more aggressive early game steps.
Yeah, I think a lot of this was just based around the top the fact that Suning Gaming, they were trying to make those steps known, trying to be a lot more aggressive as a team, as you mentioned, but I like what top is doing. Like, that defensive play topside worked out very well for them. Now they're in a moment where they're defending mid lane very well. They have their turrets still pretty healthy, only 1 turret lost. They might lose this one just based off of a poor basing, which would be very unfortunate to the point that I'm making. But up until this point, it was looking good.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble misses. The wave gets cleared out by Gung, but the turret has already been chunked quite a bit. Tian was thinking of a dive, but decides not to go for it. And this, I think we can come back a little bit. Oh, actually, there's a fight. We'll come back to that later. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. That's a big shot. Oh, no. He misjudges the range. Knight decides not to portal jump. He flashes away, eats the knockup. He's got a portal jump ready, but he's snared and stunned, dies on his way out of dodge.
That's the Zoe bait. 10 times out of 10. You know what? They're going to go for the damage.
Yeah.
I saw that Sleepy Trouble Bubble land. I'm going to walk up for the full burst. And he just got blasted by Zach. So maybe you just keep going for those plays. Maybe you just keep trying to test Knight to see if he has enough vision to try and look for those fights.
Keep on baiting. Try to get that Zoe to pull in. Good rotation from Suning. Pulls Fury and Yoon towards that mid lane to defend, as Tian will step up to Lies and push him back. However, top is undefended, and Choo Choo is bringing a wave.
Yeah, this is getting really frustrating for Suning Gaming. The fact that they haven't been able to crack a turret with how much priority they've had this entire game. They used the Rift Herald topside when I thought that they can just use it mid. And now it just seems like top is trying to just constantly push into the jungle of Suning. And they're trying to be the ones that make that first step.
Looking for something, looking for anything, and opening in the armor of Suning to try to get themselves back into this, but Suning holds their ground. Knight respawns, able to defend in the mid lane. Karen, he's actually going to dive right on in. Portal jump to sidestep one of the attacks, but he gets carried right back out. He's chunked low and dies again. Raz, 10 times out of 10. Zoes will step forward for the damage.
They want that damage. They want that damage. This time around, I mean, it's just hard to really kind of I want to defend him just because there are that many members in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Zach's just hopping at you. So it looks like this could just be a free tower because of how persistent TOP has been.
That's the stretching strikes. Tian gets pulled under the turret. Cosmic Radiance onto Tian. Karen is taking damage. That's Azania's on top of the Cosmic Radiance. Tian is thinking of chasing. He leaps, flashes, not quite in auto range. Oh, but the Cell Division keeps him alive.
What?
No, Tian the wrong way.
No.
He gets leaped back in. A massive mistake costs him his life, but Xiao Al has joined the fight, flanking from the bottom. Fury is on a rampage, kiting around the edges, cleaning up whatever kills he can. But look at Choo Choo, he's doing the same. He's got a lot more health than Fury, and he's willing to put an end to it. Karen leaps in, low health, but still alive. He goes low. Oh, but no rend and survives. Sleepy Trouble Bubble is not enough with the Battle Star to kill Choo Choo, but they're trying to chase it away, trying to get the kills. The flash is not enough. Oh, man, they really want this. They're continuing to chase forward. All right, they're going to get at least that one kill, but that might be the death of Knight. Now the Battle Star is sidestepped.
When is this fight going to end?
Oh, Fury walks. He's 2 turrets deep right now. The stopwatch bait. Oh, he goes down.
How many stopwatches are there in this game? How many?
You can't see it, but he is shaking his fists angrily at the heavens. There are so many stopwatches, Raz. We might as well open a clock store.
I feel bad for production because they're going to have to replay and they just don't know when they're going to do it. Because honestly, that fight could go on for ages. It just felt like every team could find that opening because at first looked pretty bad for Suning. Then Xiao Al comes in for a flank. That looked excellent, but guess who's still doing damage? It's Kog'Maw. So I guess they chose this portion. It's going to be a hell of a ride, Dom.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
So let's watch Kha'Zix here.
All right.
He cuts his own jump by flashing early, and then he's like, all right, blast comb myself back into death. Unfortunate. I feel for you, Tian. But then at this point, this is where the flank comes in. This is great for Xiao Al, but Kog'Maw is still full HP, and he's still running rampant.
Catches up to the team and just shreds through their health. Kog'Maw at level 10. That's all levels of the Bio Arcane Barrage. Karen starts the fight anew.
And I wish I could tell you that was the end. It just doesn't end. And this is when I just look to anybody to just cut the replay because it will just keep going. For Fury's like, okay, Fury has full HP now. He's life healed himself up quite a bit. He's going to look for a dive on top Cat because Cat's just a beast and he has himself unbreakable will. They're just going to dive him. They just don't know how long it's going to take, but they're going to go for it. And they're like, wait a minute, there's a low HP Choo-Choo, low HP Karn. He doesn't have stopwatch. I'm sorry. I have a bad answer for you. Don't do it, Fury.
Oh, he steps in.
They're not even going to show it.
They all missed their skill shots and going on. All right, a lot has happened since that replay started. The mid-tier 1 went down. Dragon was taken by top, and that Kog'Maw has finished his Guinsoo's and his Wit's End. 20 minutes in, and top are matching the gold of Suning.
Yes, it's a completely matched game. And this is when you look towards who does it better in terms of team fighting. My honest answer would be TOP. Kog'Maw has already got himself the 2-item breakpoint that we were talking about earlier on. And then now you have a rise for team fighting. Unless a pick can come through from Knight, if he can find a crucial pick on anybody, it could even be Karn. I've seen what he can do to tanks. Then that's their opening, but I just love how strong their team fighting is from Top Gaming. The Zach can do a lot of damage here as well. He's already purchased here his Warmogs.
That being said, though, we saw in the previous game that Suning were reliably using Knight as a pick, as harass, to get Choo-Choo out of these fights. And that was an Ezreal who could Arcane Shift away. Though Choo-Choo is big, he's a Kog'Maw. He has significantly less mobility than an Ezreal. And if he gets caught by any Sleepy Trouble Bubble, it's a lot more than trouble he's going to be in.
Yeah, that's a sucks for this champion. I'm just going to come out and say it.
Okay.
The fact that right now, Knight is 0-3-5, has had a pretty poor game thus far, but he can still do 100% of that Choo-Choo's HP bar. Yeah. So you're right. He still has to be kept honest. Right now, if you're Choo-Choo, if you're Goong, a fight could just be lost. Positioning on the map, a lost Baron just because he gets caught with one Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
He's playing it nice and safe right now. Pushes a wave up to the river, no further, and walks away. Still, that bottom tier 1 is standing. Xiao Al with the Unsealed Spellbook has swapped his teleport towards that ghost. So a little bit more presence for Lies on the map because he's got his teleport up.
Yeah, this is now going to be a big question of, is Lies going to stick towards the bottom lane? Because theoretically, Suning Gaming have all the control towards Baron. Like, the vision control has been kept and cleared. They've been pushing mid lane pretty reliably, but they just don't have TP on their top laner. So how are they going to force that position if Lies is going to be there first? So a lot of focus from TLP should actually be towards the 1v1 matchup in Lies and Xiao Al, just because if they can get that going, Xiao will never be able to join his team.
Ooh, this is a bit optimistic. They're stepping forward. Goong walks into vision.
Let's go.
Baron leads the charge. Cosmic Radiance is dropped nice and early in vulnerability, but Xiao Al has joined the fight. It's a 5 versus 5 brawl. Teleport from Lies gets him in. A big Mega Gnar slam buys time, but Knight is firing across. Goong on the other side. The AD carries chasing forward. Xiao Al goes deep and finds another. And Suning Gaming, despite being caught, are the ones who walk away with 3 kills.
And what an incredible flank from Xiao Al. That looked like such a great in-game from Top Esports, but no, that's not going to happen just because Choo-Choo is completely 100-0.
Flash snare onto Knight, locks him in place. The Rune Prison tries to prevent the Zoe from getting away, but can you ever truly stop a Zoe who's dancing around that much? Seems like so far the answer is no, but Suning the rest of them in the meanwhile, finishing off that Baron. Kalista happily running away.
Get away from her!
There goes the Realm Warp to get to safety.
All right, so that's just a free Baron. Overall, amazing team fight coming out of Suning. And Knight keeps himself alive, which has been a struggle for him all game.
So let's take a look at this once again. Yeah. Fury steps forward. Xiao Al comes in for the flank.
Strong timing from him. Immediately shoots you. Sure, he has a shield from overheal, but how long is that going to last? Gets completely bursted, so it didn't matter how much of CC. That was a 3-man hit from the Gnar, but you don't have a carry, so everyone else is going to get demolished.
You owe me a soda, by the way.
Real?
Jinx. Yeah, Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Uh-oh.
Because you said, let's take a look at this at the same time as I did.
Do you like Coca-Cola?
Absolutely, Rez.
Wonderful.
24 minutes into the game. We've now got 10 versus 10, but a 4,000 gold advantage for Suning, as they've still got that Baron buff. Karen is going to defend Gung, make sure there are no dives going on. Suning, they're just going to take it nice and slow. Allow top to walk into their trap, or at the very least try to set up the trap themselves with that Sleepy Trouble bubble.
They can do that because Vladimir is in the mid lane. Earlier on, their problem was that they didn't have a full 5-man unit playing around with them. So now that Vladimir is mid, he has access to the top side of the map. So now that they're looking to bully down towards these 2 turrets, first one down now, Vladimir can help. But I like what TOP is doing in the mid lane.
Trying to defend, keeping that Kog'Maw nice and far away from the Zoe. However, that leaves the wave clear up to Gung, and he can't step forward against that. There's nothing to clear out the minions. And Suning Gaming, they take 1, they take 2 turrets. Karen leaps forward, and he's going to be stunned. Unable to be snared, though, as he leaps to safety. A great let's bounce to keep him alive, but their fight potential has just gotten lower. Cat, he's slowed here. Will he be able to get out? The unbreakable will is about to be broken.
Just 2 mistakes being made. Karn jumps in when there's no reason for them to fight. Oh, please, thank you. Okay, thank you. And then on top of that, Cat just finds himself stuck into the jungle. So 2 mistakes, blows flash, blows ultis. I mean, right now, TOP are trying to find themselves a team fight to get back into the game, but they don't have the tools to do that.
Tiana's actually flanking on this side, trying to duel Karen. He's won the health advantage and buys enough time for Suning to break down the mid-tier 2. Suning Gaming are very effective with this Baron. 3 turrets so far, and there is no unbreakable will. Cat eats a healthy chunk of his life. Gone. And still, the siege continues for another 60 seconds.
Yeah, every single time they want a base, seems like Knight just finds himself a Sleepy Trouble bubble onto a member. So it feels bad that it doesn't matter who eats that bubble. It's Alistar. He still gets chunked to at least half. So getting to a point in the game right now where Suning can really just start controlling any side of the jungle that they choose, top or bot side, and they can just fish for these bubbles.
Yeah. Knight, again, is just trying to be the Sandman. He's trying to put people to bed as best he can. 0-3-8, not so many kills this time as in his previous game, but still a phenomenal performance. And that minion dematerializer really coming in handy and allowing him to clear these waves just a little bit faster, get to the fights just a little bit faster than Goom, who, despite having unsealed spellbook, has still been sitting on cleanse for a significant majority of the game for one reason. One single ability.
There's only one man. Well, technically Taric, but Taric really has no reason to jump on top of him.
It's the Sleepy Trouble. That's the one. Yeah.
And so I love how they're playing this right now. Suning Gaming, they're using both Kha'Zix and inevitably now she's rotating towards the bottom side of the map, Zoe, to just keep throwing stuff. Slow him down, of course, with your evolved W on Kha'Zix, and then put him to sleep.
Oh, Choo-Choo.
You don't want to do it.
Yeah, that was a bit dangerous. Cat was right there to try to body block the hit, but still, walking anywhere near a Sleepy Trouble bubble is no good. Wow.
Are you kidding me?
He even manages to catch Karen in the back. Ooh, a third of his health. 1,000 damage, Res.
Thankfully, Warmog's is... wait a minute. He just used that. Stop this, man.
Another one. Lies gets chunked out. Oh, man. And look at that. The Banshee's Veil denies Rune Prison from Gung, allowing him to portal jump.
And thankfully, a champion was not hit by that Sleepy Trouble bubble, so he actually has a cooldown on that. And thank you.
Wait. Now it's up. Goes right back in. They tag onto Cat. Unbreakable will, but this time he might be able to get himself out of this. Good damage onto you and a very early Cosmic Radiance flank from Xiao Al into the back. A great stun from Lies to try to keep his team alive, but Suning are an unstoppable flood overflowing over the top of that Gnar. A double kill for Xiao Al as the fight is again won by Suning.
Yeah, now they finally have a wave so they can start to push this one into a second tower. Doesn't matter how bad that wave is in the top lane for them. They just look for a fight. Doesn't matter when. They just go in.
Now they're chasing up once again. Knight holding on to an Ignite with his Spell Thief. Could be some damage. Karen leaps forward. It's 5 versus 3. He will be able to steal away a lot of folks, as that's a huge CC chain, but they just don't have enough damage to follow it up. That cat going down as they continue to chase onto Goong. Good rune prison, but that's not going to be able to stop that Vladimir.
Wait a minute.
Realm warp to get back to the turret.
Yeah, thank God.
Zanya is perhaps one of the best purchases Goong has ever made.
Exactly. Are they going to go for this once again? No
Lies?
stopping the top train.
He's still going for this. It's a double teleport. It's Goong and Lies. They really want this. Rune Prison is denied by the Tides of Blood. Lies leaps over the wall. Xiao Al, such low health, but Choo Choo has joined the fight. He's trying to catch up. Xiao Al finally goes down. They did kill Lies already, as that's the Guardian Angel popped by Tian. Don't think he's got the leap ready, but he does have a flash over the wall. Oh, and goes down to Choo Choo. But again, this seems like it's a mere penance compared to what Suning just did.
They're going to keep chasing him.
Yeah, they absolutely are as they keep going forward. Cosmic Radiance, will they be able to kill this Zac in time? Stun locks him down, but Goong joins the fight. That's a quick snare, but QSS gets him to safety.
That's the thing about top. It doesn't matter how poor the game's been going, these team fights have been going, they just don't stop. That's what I like to see.
Top don't stop.
Top don't stop. I'm going to keep using that one.
Don't stop the beat.
Maybe not on air.
Okay. Then they will be able to take a bottom tier 1. But again, like I said, it feels like breadcrumbs, whereas Suning is holding on to the whole loaf.
Yeah, because when they finally have pressure, that's the big point. When Suning have pressure, they hold on to it. They keep using their pick potential. Of course, Kha'Zix throwing out W just to be able to push them away from tower. And of course, constant Sleepy Trouble bubbles being used to be able to just get a pick.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that for about 20, 30 seconds, maybe a minute on end. Meanwhile, top, they get a win in a team fight, sure, like a little bit of a win. But what do they get from it? Now they have to deal with these waves, but immediately it gets wrestled away from them.
Yeah, it feels like we are still seeing some growing pains out of both of these teams. Suning Gaming, they had the game plan. Poke, pick, open opportunities, and then dive when the time is right. But they didn't do anything with the dive. The bottom inhibitor is still up, so top are free to push out onto the map and try to contest this inevitable Baron, as Zac was just invisible for the duration of that Sleepy Trouble bubble.
Didn't exist.
Yeah. There's a control ward over the wall. Top 31 minutes in. 10 minutes behind the mark. Will turn on to the Baron. Karen eats a huge chunk with the Paddle Star, and Tian is going to harass him the whole way home.
You kidding me?
Who's going to take this one? Looks like Lies in the front is going to be the guy who soaks that damage.
Thankfully, Karen didn't take much damage since the last time he got bursted, so now he's back at full HP with his War Marks.
Quick heal to get some movement speed for Tian with that Spell Thief. The wave gets pushed up, and Suning just yo-yo right on back.
Looks like they're going to be using Baron as their primary tool to start these fights because it feels difficult for them to look for this mid lane tower. They don't have a lot of range just because they, naturally you have a Kalista, great team fighter, poor at sieging.
Trying to open up an advantage. It's Suning, 7,000 gold ahead and looking for more. They decide not to fight around the Baron. Instead, going to respect the 3-item Kog'Maw with his QSS and potentially the rest of top if they're able to get to the fight in time. But again, it's still patient game from Suning Gaming. We're still seeing the same, I guess, comfort in their patience.
Yeah, it feels like an elephant in the room, kind of, just because Chichu has been farming up quite well for himself, almost about to hit that 300 minion mark.
Oh, you're saying Choo Choo is the elephant in the room?
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Yeah,
he's pretty massive right now. So it's gotten to a point where if these team fights do get butchered from Suning Gaming, then it's kind of difficult for Zoe to kind of make a mark in those fights. It just really does depend on how these fights are set up. So a lot of, I would say, focus onto Karin, because he's the beefiest member for the team.
We've seen him get some good engages earlier in the match as, Karin actually soaks that. Look at that. He's got the War Mugs. Yeah, so he can take these hits. Guardian Angel for the fights.
Nice red buff to just chase him down, too.
Ooh, they managed to spot out Tian, who's trying to sneak his way around. They managed to tag onto Karin, but not going to follow it up with the Paddle Star, as these teams, they won't fight over Baron, but they will fight over Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it's an Infernal Dragon. Some relevance and importance. TOP has one already, so a second Infernal Dragon will do them good.
Still Suning, same strategy. Poke with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Poke with the Void Spikes from Tian. Look for opportunities to get some chip damage before going in.
And what's even more frustrating for TOP is because they do want to push into that river. They want to be able to get some control wards down. But seems like Zoe, every single time she pushes out this wave, perches herself just above that wall to be able to kind of send Sleepy Trouble Bubbles time and time again.
So that was Goong's flash.
Oh.
I think that might have been a misclick there.
Man, fat finger.
Yeah. That does mean that Suning immediately turn onto the Dragon in Vision. And Realm Warp actually gets top right onto the Baron as 5. They're going to try to burn through its health, and they're doing it quite quickly. A Sleepy Trouble Bubble tags onto Kappa. Baron is picked up. Now, Suning Gaming, they're going to try to give chase to this, but the Bandits are already on their way out. It's a fight on multiple fronts. Tian goes in, but he's got no backup. He goes low and goes down. Choo Choo is firing across as Xiao Al tries to get into him, and he does get the kill. Meanwhile, in the back, Zoe managed to kill Cat, and that's going to be 2 members of top dead, but they've still got Baron on 3.
And Xiao Al is just such a beast this game. Every single time you think at least once, he's not going to flank us. Just one time, make a mistake.
No way.
And he's always there, immediately bursting down Choo Choo. And Choo Choo, the Kog'Maw, is that one focal point for the team that can find themselves some breathing room. Yeah, it's just not going to happen if Vladimir's just on top of his face.
Oh, and look at this. Karen's actually pushing towards the middle inhibitor. Goong is there with him. Not a very good base race. They are losing their inhibitor in the top lane. You can see Lies did push out bottom. And amazingly, Suning don't take advantage of this information. They allow themselves to pull back and recall. They decide not to keep pushing with the minion wave, and they play it safe.
Let's just look back at this point in time, because Tien tries to go for a fight here, tries to force a fight. And I was like, all right, you're going to get bursted down here, but Xiao Al is already in front of Kog'Maw. Sure, he survives the first burst, but the thing about Vladimir at this point in the game, he has pretty low cooldowns, and he can just go right back and press an E on top of you again. So there is no opportunity for Kog'Maw to create space for the Vladimir. There is no protection for him. Honestly, from this point forward, it should be on Cat to just be on Vladimir duty. He needs to just stick by Kog'Maw and see if he can push off the Vladimir and create something, some CC moment, because Vladimir is a squish champion. He is. Well, sure, he has Zhonya's, but if you can CC him, headbutt, pulverize, you can burst him down. But that just opportunity is not being made.
We also don't see any grievous wounds on just about anyone except Karen. So as long as Xiao Al doesn't attack Karen, he doesn't have to worry about getting any healing debuff. Something has got to try to slow down Xiao Al and help lock him down. Also, Knight has got a Mage Eyes. He has converted his Dark Seals into a Mage Eyes, and he's sitting on 10 stacks right now. So perhaps a show of confidence here?
He's a firm believer that he ain't dying. That's exactly what this is. And honestly, I think it's just for him, it's like a last item believing that the game's going to be over fairly soon. Getting a Banshee's Veil was the best purchase of his life, because Zoe's already pretty tricky to kind of get on top of. Sure, doesn't have an escape, but does have an ultimate, just kind of get in and out, weaving.
Jump, yeah.
If there's a team near him, that's great. And of course has a flash for him. Gets an extra summoner spell on his W. You have a Banshee's Veil on top of that? And how do you actually stop that on the Zoe?
Hope he misclicks?
Correct answer.
Okay, yeah. It's the best I can do. Meanwhile, you can see Lies is split pushing on the other side of the map. He just faded away from Meganar. He's still sitting on that Baron buff for 30 seconds and pushing into the super minion wave. So he is buying his team lots of time on this top half of the map. Suning in the meanwhile. They've pushed up mid, they've pushed up bottom, but they haven't got anything yet with that.
Here's the thing, that's a massive overheal shield coming in from Fury. So that was their opportunity. Maybe the next wave is going to be their opportunity to look for a dive. They are pressed for time just because of what Lies is doing in the top lane.
That's a pretty big Gnar. Oh yeah, he does have the Avarice Blade finally, so we will be able to apply the Grievous Wounds. His Flash Stun catches Choo Choo. Quick dazzle to lock him down, but that means the QSS is gone. It's do or die time, Suning. They step forward. Yoon leads the charge. They break the turret. They're targeting Karen. He leaps away, but still Lies. Continues to push. Xiao Al goes in. He's knocked back. There's the big health drop that you were talking about. Not a lot of resistances. They're pushed back to the fountain, but still Lies is pushing.
That was the last line of defense for top, but it still kind of holds. It could have been better from them, but ultimately it's still a trade, which is the best you could get if you're TOP with how this game has been going. It's taking a little bit of time.
And there he goes.
Excellent.
Finally breaks down the inhibitor. But that will mean that Suning does have one more inhibitor. 2-1. Still a close game. 3,500 gold between the two teams 38 minutes in. This Cat won't be able to deny that recall.
You get nothing, sir. But here's the thing, even though he got the inhibitor, that's not a pushing lane anymore. It's more so just like an evened out lane, because that's the same wave that's coming in. Both super minion waves are going to be coming in the top side of the map. Sure, it's a better timing for TOP, so if they stall out a little bit more, then the inhibitor responds for them, and suddenly they have a good lane to work with. But that just means they have to stall out for a little bit of time, and Suning aren't so patient this game.
Already you can see Knight is building up that double super minion wave to push back against the super minions of top, making their way past the Gromp now. Elder Dragon is up in 50 seconds, Baron in 2 minutes. The clock is ticking for these big neutral objectives. We know Suning's game plan. Just try to poke, try to harass, look for an opportunity to chip before engaging in the fight. But Chuchu is level 17. He is 6 items, 370 CS, a full 50 ahead of Fury.
Yeah,
he's
100%.
ready to take that fight.
Yeah, both teams here believe that they can win a fight, and they are both correct depending on how the fight's set up. So if you're TOP, you want to be able to stop them from getting an Elder Dragon, and you should be able to do so. Zach can get a pretty decent engage off, and if Chuchu can find himself inside of the fight with Vladimir nowhere to be seen.
Ooh, there goes the Kog'Maw. He is rearing and ready to go. The little puppy is a big dog now. Now, Suning Ganging, they're grouped up around this Elder Dragon. They are ready to try to burst it down. Immediately, they turn onto it, but Karen is right there. No vision from top. They drop double wards over the wall. Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Goom. He cleanses early.
That's really unfortunate. Not only have to use Cleanse, but that's an extra Sleepy Trouble Bubble that Zoe can use.
Yeah, Knight harassing from the side. Elder Dragon going low. Look at the Ren stacks. Karen leaps in. Cosmic Radiance. Fury sidesteps away, and it's stolen! I cannot believe it. Karen takes it and then carries Tian out into the fight. But this is a lot of damage that we're going to see out of top in this fight. Kog'Maw was assassinated not by Zoe, but by Tian, and it's in a complete brawl in the front as everyone is just balled on top of each other, trying to break it down, trading health bars. And it looks like Suning Gaming have got the damage. They've got the advantage. Elder Dragon or no, they are going to win this fight, take the ace, and take the game.
It was so close for TOP. They were so close to being able to come out in a winning team fight. But it was Chuchu once again that he fell early. I mean, he used his summoners. There was not much for him to do. He was just jumped on top by Tian and, of course, Xiao Al. Really unfortunate for him. If it was just another second, just 1 second in which he was able to just kind of put in a few more autos, little bit of lifespan for him, it could have turned out completely differently.
And that was another threat that we forgot to discuss a little bit more during the game. Tian coming up big with the assassination. Finally, Suning are able to catch up to their minions and break down the Nexus. They close out this series with the first 2-0 victory of 2018.
It's nice to see. I mean, there were a lot of questions for Suning Gaming. Where were they? Middle of the pack, a little